welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club with 4 race starts. We're going to start with our category 4 riders, then 3, 2 and 1. Our riders lined up in yellow, that is our category 1 riders, in green our category 2, in blue category 3 and category 4 in red.
Noah Batty may have a Union Jack by the side because he is of British nationality, but he actually lives in Germany.
And the sun is shining.
There you go.
And it's sunnier than the UK. So there we go. So he's saying it's cold at the minute. No, you just turned the fan on, Niall. What are you doing? Our solo leader, Christophe Lasno, has decided I'm just going to go for a sprint here as well.
Look at what he's done to the Category 4 pack. This is like Retro Sunday Race Club. Because once upon a time...
we should do this every now and then.
Once upon a time, this is what we used to do. All 4 categories starting at exactly the same point. It's absolutely fabulous to see. And you don't have to wait for Category 1 to come through to get those sprint results up because they're up. And Hayden Pucker is up and raring to go at the moment.
Now, Mistakes 100 already on the attack. The riders behind him going through this sprint, they're Category 2 riders. VFL, Bruce Bird's going for this. Mistakes 100 is holding, remember, the fastest time through the segments of King. But this is just the start of the segment. 19 seconds, the current time check between Bruce Bird and Mr. X100. It's a little bit more back to SS, and that is going to be really telling. So let's see what's going to happen as we continue onwards.
It is all on in Category 2 at the moment. It's all on in Category 1 because Vink and Osborne are clear by over a minute from Safra, Zadie, Jones and Kaminsky. Pucker over 2 minutes. Panizza is with Pucker. So it is absolutely battle royale at the front of Category 1.
The chase is on and behind. There are riders scattered across the climb. Our 2 race leaders on their final climb. The chase is on, but it looks to me like Jason Osborne, the pretender, has become the world champ, and Michael Vink is losing ground. Vink is coming behind him, but surely this is Jason Osborne. He's got to get around this right-hand turn.
Well, this comes around the right-hand turn. He's going to see the finish line. The world champion for 2024 returns to the Sunday Race Club and takes the win. Jason Osborne in Category 1 takes the win today.
Madame, messieurs, bonjour, ravi de vous retrouver sur MyWhoosh pour ce Sunday Race Club catégorie. Au départ, la catégorie 4 en rouge, les bleus de la catégorie 3, la catégorie 2 en vert, sur la catégorie 1 en jaune avec les rouges qui vont ouvrir le bal. Apparemment dans la vie c'est un sacré gaillard puisqu'on nous le donne à 100. C'est pas mal, c'est une belle bête. Comme sa 7e course dans on repasse 3 avec Alex West. Alex West, le néo-zélandais qui est évidemment bien là aussi dans cette catégorie 3. Alex West, apparemment oui. Donc on a un peloton multicolore, voilà, effectivement. Donc tout le monde en même temps, avec Trojanowski qui est pour l'instant seul en tête, toutes catégories confondues. C'est Luke Colport qui est en 5e position. Attention, Jason Osborne directement à l'offensive. Oh là là, Jason Osborne qui envoie du lourd là. Il envoie un gros pâté à 10 watts par kilo. Jason Osborne, dès le kilomètre 7, passe à l'offensive. Mister Xan, 35 secondes d'avance. Je regarde aussi l'écart derrière parce que Mister Xan ne roule pas avec les jaunes, je précise. Mister Xan est un concurrent de la catégorie 2 où Yacine, Kaminsky, Jones et Safarzadeh. Voilà un petit peu une idée de la hiérarchie. En tout cas, voilà, victoire de Jason Osborne ici.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. مشاهدينا الكرام متابعينا في كل مكان، اهلا وسهلا مع الانطلاقات الاربعه والفئات الاربعه، الفئه باللون الاحمر، الفئه الرابعه والفئه الازرق، والفئه الثانيه باللون الاخضر، والاولى باللون الاصفر. وعامر واحد من الدراجين الاماراتيين دائما يدخل الاسبوع الماضي كان في المركز العاشر.
اما هنا الفئه الثالثه،
حتى الفئه الثالثه ايضا نلاحظ نفس الامر. نفس الامر مع الفئه الثالثه، نلاحظ لوك ألبورت والمجموعة، لكن الآن سوف نبدأ بعملية الاسبرنت. لوك ألبورت يتواجد الآن، ولكن شوف يرش الماء على نفسه، عم يبرد، يحاول يبرد، يحاول يشرب ماء الآن، لأنه فعلا المستوى صعب. السرعة 40 كيلومتر في الساعة. برافو يا سعد، برافو، الله عليك يا سعد، الله عليك يا سعد، برافو. نعم الساعد الآن يلتحق بكينغسون، يصمد خلف كينغسون، لا تتركه لا تتركه، انه يحاول الان الابتعاد. كينغسون حذاري حذاري يا مستر اكس 100. خلص الفارق بروس، بروس يعود، بروس الكندي، بروس بيرد يعود. ها هو بروس، بروس يا جماعه يضغط الان فوق ال 400 واط و50، 457 و75 واط. وجيسون اوسبورن بطلا للسباق التأهيلي الثالث لشهر نوفمبر. نعم جيسون أوسبورن الألماني بطل العالم، بطلا لهذا اليوم.
Hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. It's the monthly finals. It's me, Matt Payne. I'm back once again with Emma Martin in the studios where we are. It is Baltically cold. I hope where you are it is marginally warmer, and our riders are warmed up ready for our finals. 3 cracking qualifiers, as you've seen, including the blast back in time that was last week. Hope everybody's enjoyed the racing so far this month. The finals, though, are always that step up. Again with the team competition. Emma, where are our teams racing here in the men's race? Let's share it with everyone.
Well, I can tell you the men's day in Colombia on the Paso Alto, 45 kilometers of racing, 914 meters of climbing. And I tell you something, that is 19 kilometers of climbing in total today. You can see it in front of you. The Medlin climb, and the Bogatar climb come at 21.9 kilometers into the race. And it's pretty pan flat till then, with the exception of a few bridges, a couple of sprints along the way, 5 of them to be exact. And then we hit the Medlin climb. Average gradient, 6.1% over 5.5 kilometres. We transition to 31 kilometres. And then it's the Bogatar climb, all 13.5 kilometres of it. Average gradient, 3.6%. It's got a little kicker at 7.7, about a third of the way in. It is going to be a big test of the men's day, but don't discount a sprint finish.
It's Emma's phrase, of the day, making me cough.
Well, the women were also on the Paso Alto earlier.
They were indeed. A great race route, and really interesting to see what happens now. We're in with Category 4. Remember, Category 4 go 5 minutes before Category 3, and then it's a 10-minute gap to Category 2 and a 5-minute gap to Category 1. So, BMC Racing, one of the teams which have 5 riders, as do Level Avengers, Level Papa Wheelie, along with the Mighty Ducks, Level Up, the Anzacs, and Upcycled. We have 7 teams with 5 riders in Category 4. With one team with 3, and that is the new team. In there. We'll try and run through everybody to give you some names for who's in which teams in a moment. But I have to say, as he quickly silences the phone that's decided to have a life of its own, that we have got a real battle on with so many teams. 7 teams of 5, and it's 3 riders to count. They're stacking the riders in there in Category 4.
Well, they are indeed, and I can tell you the Anzacs versus Level Up, the Mighty Ducks, Upcycled, and BMC Racing. In relation to the form the riders were shown in the qualifiers, those are the squads to watch today. But I tell you something, it was the Anzacs from the Level Avengers last month. They were on the Yebel Hafid, but a number of the riders have progressed to Cat 3. Now in with Cridland as the green light. Well, that signifies go, and go have gone the Category 4 riders up and out of the start pen. And I tell you, there's a stretch on the front of the pack already. Never assume when you look at a course map that the first 20 kilometres are, well, flat and nothing will happen, because though you never know what the riders are planning. And Llewellyn Agudelo, Warren, Cridlin, all up towards the front. So is Amma and Horsley. Ian Lloyd is in the mix as well. Agudelo, Jeff Rooney, all here at the moment. But it is Buama on the front of the pack.
So already this group starting to motor, starting to make life difficult for the riders at the back of the group. Should we do a whistle-stop tour through the teams?
If you wish.
Tell you what, why not? Let's give it a go. Let's see if we can make this in one go. I'm not going to make it in one breath. There's so many riders here today in Category 4. So, BMC Racing is Bello, Bachansky, Krawanos, Truba, and Newman. Desert Falcons, Nielsen. He's just solo, but so can't count, but riding for the Falcons team. Level Avengers, we've got Gomez, Nogueira, Calangad, Cadabona, and Francis. Level Papa Wheelie, Fiedler, Amur, Morgan, Brito, Gaviria. Level Up is White, Cirillo, Russinek, Rooney, and Warren. Mighty Ducks in Agadello, Cadiz, Pino, and Jocka Bonus. New team with Devia, Calderon, and Muktari. Anzac squad, the Anzac squad with Dadson, Winfield, Cridland, Horsley, and Dadson. So Cameron and Mark Dadson. And we have the upcycle team with Zanaska, Dromard, Lloyd, Alalusa, and Mayard. There are a number of very strong riders, solo riders as well, entered. Who is going to take this out? Teams of 3 to count. Jeff Rooney riding for that level up team. He will need 2 riders with him if he's at the front of the race to score the best time. Remember, if you are just jumping back in, or if you haven't joined us before, news is, of course, that 14 competitions, 3 riders' times, your fastest 3 riders' times added together. The cumulative time is the time that gives you your team time. The fastest team time takes the win.
Well, the fastest team time last month was the Anzacs, and they took the Level Avengers by a time gap of 5 minutes and 12 seconds. Yeah, I know. It was massive.
Just dropped my MyWhoosh water bottle.
It was absolutely massive. Jacques Russinek on our screens at the moment, part and parcel of the Level Up squad. One of the teams I think you need to watch today. No pressure, Jacques, because, I reckon this could go well today. But White, Crillo, Russinek, Rooney, and Warren level up. But if form is anything to go by, the Anzacs, David Winfield has had 2 fifths, Cridland's had a 5th, Horsley's had a 2nd and a 4th. So they've put multiple riders on a podium already this month. That said, JD Abello from BMC Racing's had a phenomenal month with a 1st and a 3rd. Brian White from Level Up, Russenek's squad's had a 3rd place. In the Mighty Ducks, Daniel Cadiz has had a 1st and a 3rd, so he's on form as well. He's got Agudelo, Pino, and Jocobonis with him. And Panu Alalusa from Upcycled, Will Zanaska, Dromard, Lloyd, and Mayard are with him as well.
It's who's who in Category 4. However, we're going to look now into Category 3, the first step up the ladder from Category 4. The squads today, Otero Alliance, 5 riders for them. Level Racing, 5 riders as well. Take that. They've got 5 members of the boy band. ZTBR, 5 riders as well. The Anzacs squad, 4 riders though. So the Anzac squad in Category 3 with 4 riders. They're but 5 of 9 teams here in Category 3. Gold Grabbers, well, they have 4 riders. Level Racing Revolution has 5. The Silver Snatchers have 4. And X-Pro are our one team with the minimum number, which is 3 riders.
Well, I tell you, for me, this is going to be so close because it was take that from the Gold Grabbers last month by 55 seconds. But this month, Otero Alliance, East has had a 4th, Squilari's had 2 seconds, Edwards has had a 3rd and a 4th. Take that, Oyer's had his first win on the Sunday Race Club, Ridley's had a 1st and a 3rd. That could be strong. But ZTBR, Ellos has had a 5th, Moreno's had a 4th, and Kirchner's had a 5th, showing a little bit of strength and depth.
And we're in with Demian Kasnowski of the ZTBR squad as the clock counts down. Remember, this a group of Category 3 riders. This wave of riders away go 10 minutes in front of Category 2, and then it's a further 5 minutes, meaning it's 15 minutes head start on Category 1. Time to make the most. Time to hit the roads of Colombia. Away we go with Damian Kasnowski kicking up 5.8 watts per kilo out of the pen to sit in this bunch, doing enough. but not too much.
Whoa.
Positioned at the back, you've got to be very careful here. You don't want to expend too much energy early, but the front has gone off
Expending
like
too
a
much
train.
energy early. I just seen 8 watts per kilo at the front of the pack and maybe a 10 in between, because that's not a pack rolling, that's a strand of spaghetti.
Wow, okay. That's a very different analogy for the bunch.
Well, you know, a nice tight bunch looks like a piece of gnocchi. A big, strong stretch looks like a long line of spaghetti.
Well, yeah, it's. I was thinking of an arrow, but, you know, if you want spaghetti, if you've got food on the mind, and I'm going to put a big shout out because I know some of the guys will be watching. A massive thank you to everybody last night here in France, in the local commune who were hosting us last night for the for everybody who basically volunteers on the local event. It was a very nice night with a whole lot of people and community who are basically putting on bike events. So I know you're going to be watching. Massive thank you, or as I should say correctly, merci beaucoup.
Well, Ridley Yeast in here with Kalman and Kansara. Look, there you go. There is indeed Henry Yeast with his Fire Whoosh jersey on at the moment. Absolutely dialing it up at the front of the pack. But Henry Yeast, Matthias Kalman, Lewis Ridley, Nikau Kansara absolutely drilling the front of this Category 3 race. And take a look at what is happening at the back.
I'll tell you something, Isan Co at the moment, they've gone, do you know what? Let's just have an absolute battle from the word go. There is no skirmishing. This is a full-on war at the moment. We're doing damage as casualties being dropped off the back here. People who cannot stay with the early pace here. We're 1.5k in, and this is making people work. Look at this. We've got Oya chasing. We've got people like Rimborg having a chase here. There are riders out of the back who should not be there, who are having to expend energy. This is great tactical moves on the front. Is it one team or is it multiple teams, though?
Well, let's take a look at this, because I have to say, when you look at the course, you never make an assumption on a course. The first 21.9 kilometres of this course are pretty much pan flat, other than the bridges. And Luke Allport will know that, because he'll have ridden this course many times before. He's just pushed on onto the back of the lead group, and he's in a bit more of a comfortable position. But it's not comfortable out there today in Category 3, because rather than wait till the final 25 kilometres, they have gone for it in the first 20, and they've actually gone for it in the first 2. And that is absolutely nutty. But I tell you what, they'll have caught some people out completely, and they will not have expected this. And they may, do you know what, Matt? They may have held back their warm-ups because they thought they would get a longer run-in before the race started firing.
Well, if you did that and then your warm-up should be lower than this, you're not going to be happy, and unsettling people. And that mind game is all part of racing.
Did you see that split screen?
Yeah.
It was like the tale of two stories. Category 4, comfortably manoeuvring their way around the course in Colombia as a large group. Category 3, absolutely nailing it, going on the front and really, really pushing.
And with that, I think this is a brilliant analogy. It's exactly what it's like. Stan Van William, Category 3, currently also had his wheat beats for breakfast and on the move at the moment. Or maybe it was jumping beans. I don't know. They're absolutely flying at the moment in Category 3. Now, let's try and run through the team names for you in Category 3. Whilst it's marginally steadier than it has been so far on our race start. Okay, Anzacs. First of all, the Anzac squad: Valencia, Marin, Pino and Robinson. The Otero Alliance: Esquilari, Edwards and Giuliano. The Gold Grabbers is Tidholm, Kalman, Kochikov and Van Welligen. The Level Racing squad is West, Rimborg, Allport, Batsy and Sully. Level Racing Revolution: Kirk, Svart, Roy, Hagland and Tuomi. Reichel, Finland, not enough riders to count for the team, but Jano Peak will be riding for them here today. Take that, Dutch, Oya, Ridley, Spratt and Kansara. The Silver Snatchers squad, well, that is Bulgarian, Van der Zandt, Paredes and Gonsolin. X-Pro, Cardona, Orego and Holtz make up their 3. And the ZTBR, where we kicked off with Damien Sniskowski. We've also got in there Elos Moreno, Oviedo and Kirchner. Hassan Al-Ramethri and Sandro Daniel not in teams today, so they can play their own game, but they're not going to be eligible for the team prizes of the race field. In fact, only 3 riders ineligible for the team competition, which is incredible, really strong, great racing. And I can't wait to see how this plays out. The Otero Alliance at the moment with Henry East have been ripping this up. Now, the teams have been talking about this. They've got a plan and they have gone for this. Surely, there is surely no way that the riders in Category 3 have not thought about this. I mean, one man we can guarantee he's going to go off the front is Christoph Lasno. He goes for this time and time again. He's got the sprint jersey as the fastest riders through the sprint, but he's regularly on the attack in Category 4.
Yeah, he is indeed. And one of the things, we just had Henry Yeast on the screen with the dark outside. Now, that's not morning dark, that's evening dark, because for him, whilst he says his flag says he's from South Africa, he's actually living in New Zealand. So it is like 10 o'clock at night there at the moment.
In New Zealand, whatever time zone you're in, there is great racing. So if you look at it and think, I don't want to really go this time, but I'd really like to go racing, don't forget lots of great racing on MyWhoosh. So whether that's on a Monday with the OTRs Get Racing, that is, and all these times are in GST, so that's gold standard time, which is where MyWhoosh is based. So obviously you need to plus or minus whatever, and it might take you into a different day, so just be warned. So OTR Get Racing, that's at 5:30 on a Monday in the evening GST. Don't forget, of course, you've got to Get Racing, so that's at 2 o'clock GST on the Tuesday, 2 time zones, and that might even be a Monday depending on where you are in the world. Mountain Massive with the time trial, 2 times on a Tuesday, 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock GST. OTR's Flaming Fast Racing, that's 2300 GST. So that would indeed be the early hours of the morning for Henry East over in New Zealand. Team Evolve Sprint Race on a Wednesday with the MyWhoosh Classics. ZTBR's Endurance Brazil, the Echelon Racing coming through with their Shakeout race. Loads of great racing right the way through Coalition and right the way, of course, to Sunday Race Club, where you can ride it out and battle it with our Category 3 riders.
And take a look at what they're doing. We've now got this group. This is the lead group. Tidholm, Allport, Calman West, Robinson, Oyer, all in here. Van Vellegem is here as well as Edwards. Then there's a gap back to the chase group. And then there's a third group on the road that are not yet on that bottom left-hand corner shot. So at the fast pace out of the pen, absolutely creating the play in this Category 3 race. And we're just about to go up and over one of these bridges. And the gap at the moment with the chase group coming back, I'm sure the front group are now going to do something about that and try and re-extend the gap.
Well, we're going to have to wait until we get back to the riders. We're keeping a little bit of an eye on them as we watch Category 2. There are our next set of riders to go. The penultimate race start in November, because this, of course, is our finals, the last Sunday. It's our last race start.
Yeah, I know, but did you say the penultimate?
This is the penultimate race start for our Category 2.
Okay, sorry, I'm with you.
Ultimate
just a
one
little
is
bit
Category
slow
1.
off the mark there.
Well, you can't be slow off the mark if you're in Category 2, because we have 10 teams racing, and they may well be ripping it up as we've seen before. We've got 6 teams with 5 riders, 3 teams with 4 riders, and 1 team with 3. So level NSA Racing in here, they've got 4 riders. MyWhoosh Werewolves have 5. What's up? Well, they have 5 riders as well. The UAE Clan team are the team with 3, but do not discount them either. The Goats have 5 riders. Abu Dhabi team have 4 riders. MDFS have 4. Top Notch have 5. The Wattage Warlocks have 5. And the Wattage Warriors also have 5 riders. 3 riders to count. 3 riders not in squads. Angarita, Veles, and Galuska as well. We will tell you who's in which team once we get up and running. Category 2 is always ferocious, Emma. It's always close in the individual competition, both in the finals and in the qualifiers. Is that reflected when you look at the stats and the numbers and you do the crunching?
I can tell you, last month in the team competition, the Wattage Warlocks took it from Rule 5 by 2.4 seconds. Third place were the MyWhoosh Werewolves, 38 seconds back from the Wattage Warlocks. So 38 seconds separated the top 3 teams in Category 2 last month. And from my analysis, which you may well talk about in a short while, is going to be a close one today as well.
Okay, I'm sure we will be talking about that in with Walter Glaze as we head to race start for Category 2. Away they go. It's time to hit the roads of Colombia. It's time to head out onto the course. The clock ticking already. The heart rate rising. The power is down. You can see Walter Glaze power in the top centre of the screen. At the moment, the riders trying to stay in the draft. Christoph Thiem. Well, he's decided to go on the front again.
Well, I can tell you something. Christoph Thiem has finished third every single qualifier this month for the MyWhoosh Werewolves. He's had 3 third places. Can he make it a first or a second? Well, will he round it out with 4 third places today?
Well, it is perfectly possible. Remember, there are 4 races this month because there are 4 Sundays in the month. That meant 3 qualifiers and 1 final. Next month in December, there are indeed 4 qualifiers kicking off on the 1st of December. The finals are on the 29th of December, and that means that we get 5 Sunday race clubs in December. Happy Christmas, everybody. You're getting 5 of them. And that means that you can subscribe, jump on board at YouTube for Sunday race clubs 5 times for the men's race, 5 times for the women's race. We'll be here each and every one of those. We don't get Christmas off. You must be kidding. We wouldn't miss this for the world. We love putting words to the action. Thank you, everybody who's watching. Please do, if you like the show, do subscribe. Make sure you get notified when we go live. And you can see, as we can see, the action unfolding in front of you with Daniel Benedetti sitting comfortably in this bunch, looking pretty smooth, not responding as 3 riders got the road.
Well, it's really interesting, isn't it? And I thought I saw Phil Graves up the front, and it's going to be interesting to see whether he is the rider up there at the moment, but he definitely was making some action on the front.
I'm going to put your money on it. There's one of the UAE clan team in that lot.
Well, there might be a UAE clan team in there, but I think there's definitely a MyWhoosh Werewolf because the Werewolves are running and the pack is running fast. And at the moment, actually, do you know what? Yeah, Phil Graves is in there, but Pierre Fell. Now, Pierre Fell, part and parcel of the Abu Dhabi team with Byrne, Dainies and Nuki. New team in this month, and Fell, one of the new riders into the Sunday Race Club. He's part and parcel of this group, 4 riders. Sebastian Havo in there as well. Now, he's a strong rider, and again, has only recently joined the Sunday Race Club. 4th place he's had this month in the team of the Goats. He's with Peter Milostic, who's had a win, Burke and Khan Cahen, and Jonas Bjarhed. I tell you, that is a strong squad. Well, the early push by the 3 riders on the front being shut down by the rest of the pack as slowly they are coming over. X100, Winfield, Bird, Brune. These names all coming to the fore. David Nitko from NDFS and Said Carradine both had 4th places this month. The MyWhoosh Werewolves, Phil Graves has had a 2nd and a 5th. Cam Winfield's had a 1st. And of course, Christoph Thiem, who's had 3 third places. That is going to be a team to watch today. Mads Busters had a 2nd from Top Notch, and X100, of course, from the UAE clan, has had a 2nd and a 5th this month. So for me, this is going to be close team racing, just like we saw last month on the Jebel Hafid.
So let's tell you who's in which team very quickly before we head over to Category 1. Abu Dhabi team, Bruce Bird. You've got Dainies, you've got Nuki and Fell. In the Goats, it's Cahen, so that's Burke and Khan Cahen, Bjarhed, Milostic and Havo. NSA, Level NSA Racing is Rushman, Tweaker, Rodriguez, Karlstrom. MDFS, Nico Gombe, El Alami and Carradine. The MyWhoosh Werewolves is Phil Graves, Gombe, El Alami and Carradine being in MDFs. You can tell I just moved the sheet, can't you? MyWolf Werewolves, Graves, Winfield, Thiem, Ritter, Walter. Top Notch is Bankston, Krasinski, Betty, Buston, Simeons. UAE clan team is X100, Popovich is an SS. UAE Falcons, Tanashi and Hamden. The Wattage Warlocks is Downey, Hawila, Don, Brune and Mayer. Wattage Warriors, Benedetti, Obitko of Federich, as well as Gates and Trojanski. What's Up team? Kowalski, McCarroll, Sjur, Wojciech, and Clays. There we go. That is your Category 2 riders. It's time to move though to Category 1. Deep breath. Teams. There are unfortunately not 10 teams in Category 1, otherwise I think I'd run out of oxygen. We do, however, have 6 teams, 4 teams of 5, 2 teams of 4. The Farm Watts squad. Bjorn Andresen, Hayden Booker, Johan Noran, Michael Plantero, and Zach Nair. We've got the Alpha Jaw squad, Daniel Chirica, David Tolbert, Lionel Vajasic, Michael Kaminsky, and Ollie Jones. The Wenger boys is Cal Power, Martin Martins, Ricardo Panizza, Sid Devet, and Vidar Mayer. The Tractors, Jasper Paradines, Christoph Kroll, Linda Milostic, and Ruben Dont, one of the teams with 4. The Up and over. Squad is a team with 5: Jakob Bjorklund, Lucas Hayland, Nicky Hug, Tatu Kushton, and Todd Allen. Young weekend warriors, Jakobs, Knudsen, Vic, and Safra Zaidi. Away go the riders. Category 1 are off. The last race starts in December. In November, even. My months have disappeared.
Oh,
it's the last race start in November. Next time we see them heading out of a pen, it will be December.
Don't
That's
wish
quite
your life
incredible.
away.
No, don't be doing that. Although there are some really exciting events. Back come Category 4. I've been waiting for that shot all the way through so the production team. Brilliant to see, because you riders head out, and then we do this big loop out and around the coffee plantations and out and round over the rivers. And then they come back in, and that was a big Category 4 budge coming in, chases behind.
Well,
and you can see that happening. Bjorn Andreasson, former world champion, he says, do you know what? I've been inspired by Category 4, 3, and 2's effervescence. We're going to go off and do the same.
Effervescent, I love that word. Lyndon Millerstick is doing the closing down, the young rider really closing onto the wheel of Andreasson, Pucker, Mare, Kroll, all in the mix. Now, no hard to guard this month, you will have noticed in the teams. It's been a bit of a rejuggle, and it's been a rejiggle and juggle because we've had new riders come into Category 1 from Category 2, and that has mixed the way the teams have been put together. Alphajaw, of course, still the same squad. Turek, Tolbert, Vujasini's had 2 second places. Kaminski's had 2 thirds and a 4th, and Jones has had a 5th. But I can tell you, Ollie Jones has had the most wins in Category 1 on this course. So keep an eye out. You know, obviously on a course that you know you go well on, well, it adds a little extra zing. Paradians from the Tractors has had a 3rd and a 4th. Kroll has had a 5th. So they should, on the form we're looking at, be in there thereabouts. Ricardo Panizza from the Venga Boys has had a 5th place. The Weekend Warriors, Ving's had 2 first places and a 2nd, and Safra Zaidi's had a 4th. They should be strong, but it's about that 3rd counter, you know. And I would never discount Farm Watts' squad of Andreasson, Pucker, Noren, Plantro and Nair, because they are always, all of those, in the top 10.
And you can see 3 of our riders from the MDFS squad with Sad Carradine, Frederick Gombe and David Nico on your screen. So getting to see the person in their pain cave, as well as the avatar in the MyWhoosh Columbia world, one of the many worlds. If you want to explore those worlds, jump onto MyWhoosh.com. Loads and loads of different worlds rotated around. The schedule is out. If you want to keep up with everything in terms of the community, MyWhoosh Indoor Cycling on Facebook, loads of great info on there about what goes on. Lots of the community races, the community rides, lots of great info, lots of great places to catch up. The team incredibly answering pretty much every single comment, post, etc. on there. Really responsive, which is what you want from the person who puts the platform together that makes you suffer. I mean, that was an incredible start, Emma, from all 4 of our categories. It's just about settling down. We've seen Category 4 and Category 3 come the other way from Category 1. But again, Category 1, the moment the pace drops, it's being lifted again. The front of this race field here, as we take the left-hand turn, is breaking up. The synchronized, almost aerobatic formation diving across there by our Category 3 rider just in front of the bunch. Fortunately, not as risky here on Cycling Esports as it would be in person. But at the moment, this group,
5 riders.
Bjorn Andreasson, either Bjorn Andreasson has just come off the back of some fantastic training. He's feeling like $1 million.
He's been out on the snowy mountain bike rides.
Has he? Now, that would explain a lot.
I love a snowy mountain bike ride. It is just food for the soul.
Well, maybe he's been refreshed by that and invigorated by the bracingly cold air and in the snow. If you've not gone out on the snow mountain biking, I would recommend it to everybody. Not possible everywhere around the globe, but if you do go to a climb that does have snow and you can mountain bike on it, please do. Obviously,
watch it when it's very icy.
Yeah, snow rather than ice. Ice is not so much fun, it has to be said, unless you have incredible cat-like reflexes and
or some decent
balance.
tyres. You can buy ice tyres.
It still doesn't work.
Anyway, the Amazon Lake Sprint, Christoph Labno setting the fastest time, 20 seconds, 0.683. SS from the UAE clan team in Category 2, following the Category 4 rider with a strong time. So does Simmons. Then it's Ruben Dont, Nicholas Hammond and Johan Noren from Cat 1, Walter Clays, Cat 2, just slipping into the top 10 then Kaminsky, Bjorklund and Vert back in Category 1.
So, at the moment, Category 1, just taking the pressure off him with Lionel Vujasin at just under 3 watts per kilo. You can see him second from the left here. The Alpha Jaws squad, 4 of their 5 riders are on the screen. And I have to say... that Justin is looking as usual, calm, collected himself. Daniel Churek on the right side, he's on great form. Michael Kaminsky, give us some thumbs up there and give us a wave.
Look at that jersey.
I'm loving the fact that he's getting the guns out on a course that demands somebody with great climbing ability and not a lot of upper body muscle. It's not a sprint. No ripping the bars off on this. Daniel Churek is on good form. He's really riding well.
No, you're really,
and
true.
I have to say, I know Jones has won on this course regularly. You wouldn't want to pick the if you had these 4, which 3 would be the 3 that count? I wouldn't want to put money on any. I wouldn't want to pick that because it could be any 3 of these 4 riders, no problems at all.
Well, I know, and Jones, Vujasin, Kaminsky, and Churek all on great form on that Alpha Jaw squad, and I would expect to see them there or thereabouts at the finish. Just watching X100 just close down a gap in Category 2 as Lionel Vujasin. We jump back in, and I tell you what, the pace is hot in this Category 1 pack already, and I think the riders really have learned after coming out in Colombia, you cannot take the first 21.9 kilometers steady, because we have seen that happen. We have seen races where the first flatter section is ridden as a pack at a very much like a zone 2, zone 3 pace, and then the fire gets lit for the climbs. But the first climb is really the only one you can do massive damage on, because the second climb just is not steep enough.
I'm only huffing and puffing because I'm not sure I actually agree with that.
Well,
let me just tell you why. It might not be steep enough, the last climb, but it's so long that once you start to get some gaps opening, you've got a lot of time where you can reinforce that if you can put the power down well enough. I think it's played out very differently many times, hasn't it, on here? And I think maybe the proof of the pudding will be in the eating. I was just thinking about Daniel Churek being on form, which he is. I couldn't recall him ever taking a win, and that is my bad. I'm going to hold my hands up here.
Did you get it wrong?
Yeah, he has taken 2 wins on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club.
What courses? Do you know?
I can tell you in about 2 seconds' time when I can tell you. Guess which? Well, they are the Jebel Hafit, long climb at the end, and the Paso Alto.
There you go. When was he? When did he win the Paso Alto?
Was that like a musical R going on there?
When
don't
did he win
sing,
the Paso
please.
Alto?
We'll lose viewers. He won the Paso Alto in the first qualifier in, I want to say, April 2024, and he won the Jebel Hafit the week before.
Well, there you go. And he was obviously on form then, wasn't he?
He was, but that, I think we've got to be careful with the top level riders. I mean, because they're not just racing Sunday Race Club.
No.
We've got the Echelon Racing League coming up. On MyWhoosh, and when that happens, our riders are going to have to measure their efforts, particularly in Category 1, between what they do for the Echelon Racing League, which is looking absolutely astounding, if they're going to race that. We've got the Tour de Monde coming up as well, done by OCR. Well, good news for you. The road book has landed today. It's
Excellent.
out now.
I'm crossing
you
my
can
fingers.
download that as well.
I am crossing my fingers and hoping I can actually race the Tour de Monde and it doesn't clash with any commentary.
Well, it's 12 stages. So
I know.
that is
I've got to
good.
pick. When you're going
It's
to
gonna
pick one,
test-
pick a good one. Let me just go back. I'm sorry, I'm going to be really quick because I
Go.
just want to go back to
Go on.
Turek in April.
Before
because,
we go back to category 4.
Yeah, because Turek took the win in April. You're right. 1 hour, 13 minutes, 50 seconds. 1 hour 13 is actually the fastest time on this course. Turek, Vyasin, Jones, Safrazadi, and Kaminsky, the top 5, 7 seconds separated them.
Just stop there. Just stop there a second. Because did you not say, like, basically all of Turek's teammates today?
Yes.
Because that's like Joseph Jassin, Talbot, Turek.
And the only other person to win in the time of 1 hour 13 minutes, which is the fastest time on the course, is Michael Vink.
Now, that is a rider who I haven't seen.
Oh,
because
he's
if
on the
you
start
think
sheets.
he is indeed, but think about who's not there. Jason Osborne.
No, because he only did one of the qualifiers.
He did indeed. And so he's not there. And I haven't seen Michael Vink yet, but that doesn't mean anything.
Look at that. By
well
the
done,
powers
team.
of magic, the production team pull him up.
That was almost the most subtle hint I've ever given the production team because they can see us on camera.
Look at this.
I know.
Andreasen is still off the front of the pack.
I know. But
he's hanging.
They're hanging him out to dry there because he's busting through the wind all on his own there. The watts are always going to be in white at the top of the screen. He's not going to be... what advantage... It's great going on the attack to force people to chase if they react.
Yeah.
That's not happening. Whereas if you compare this to the category 4 race that we just saw, there were people going on the attack and there were groups chasing after. They were splintering in 1s and 2s in pursuit. They were reacting, responding, and then having to work to bring back somebody on the front. When you're just left hanging out on the front on your own, you're basically just pushing out extra watts. For what? It's great training session. Well, it's not even a great training. It is a training session, I suppose, but it's not a great training session. You could probably be more productive by sitting in that group, and making sure you're being smart. Nicky Hook doing a great job here. See him on the top of the screen, the Swiss rider tucked in the middle of this big pack. You've got the two Swedes, Björklund and Alan Young, also nicely tucked in here as well. Got to say, these riders doing a great job in the pack. And the up and over squad is going to be pretty. I think they're in contention for a top 5. I'm not sure they're in contention for the win.
Oh, interesting. Talking. But Linda Milostic, Sai Safrazadi, Michael Kaminsky, Bjorn Andreasen, all in the mix there. And Andreasen still out on the front, but Kaminsky now closing it down, bringing him back in there at 8.8 kilometres into this 45-kilometre race. 914 metres of climbing. Well, how much have they done? 39 metres so far, but the gap now being brought back down as Kaminsky goes over the top of Andreasen. Lyndon Milostic comes up onto the wheel as well on the left-hand side of your screen. On the right-hand side of your screen, category 2, well, they're 12.4 kilometres into the race, and the stretch is on yet again because we've got a single lone flyer down the road. Well, Bert Kane, Anders Bengtsson, Simon Walter, Frederick Gombert, all in the chase. X100 coming onto the back of the group. But the rider down the road, well, it's not Jean Brun, it's not Christoph Thiem, it's not James Krasnich. I'm not sure who it is at the moment, but they're well and truly down the road, I tell you.
I was loving that. It's not. I'm
trying to find them.
I know. It's absolutely crazy. The Kane brothers.
Yeah.
John Kane. 2 riders who I've got so much time for because I really love the way that they race. I love their racing style because they are great all-round riders.
But big sprinters.
Great sprinters. I don't think they're big. You couldn't call them big.
Well, it depends on how you're using the word big.
I suppose it does. We will see. On to the big climb. On to the first of our big climbs. Terrible segue from that there. Is category 4 leaders. Heading on to the first of our climbs. Now, just to re-familiarise yourself with the climbs, we have the Medlin City climb and the Bogatar climb. They take you right up the Paso Alto. Having ridden this, I can tell you, you want to come, if you're going to ride this route, and you can ride it anytime, I would suggest you do it when you do it as part of a race, or in great company who can go really quick. I was dragged up here in some great company. Some of our Category 1 riders were basically on an easy ride, and they dragged my sorry carcass right the way to the top of the climb. But it was definitely better in company by far. So do jump on board. Come and race it. Come and race it next month. We've got lots of great opportunities. Now, in with Ruben Dont at the moment, just wearing the green skin suit, using the run through here. Another rider who's going really well at the moment, and certainly putting down the time. He did just enough to take the points and to jump into the green skin suit, but not the fastest time. That was set by SS of the UAE clan team. Another rider who's really gone for the sprints. You see Francis and Laszlo doing that, but that's as part of that broken up and fractured Category 4 race. Bino, another sprinter who regularly goes through there. He's in Category 3. But SS, absolutely a rider who we know will go for the sprints, but will still have an eye on the race overall as well.
Yes, and definitely a rider who works for his team and has historically been the team's workhorse. And really, really interesting.
Been in the engine room, hasn't he?
Well, yeah, that's a nice way of putting it. Been in the engine room of the team. Well, currently on the left-hand side, that was Category 1. This is Category 2, X100, Rushmere, Clays, Simmons, Buster, Velez, all in here. In fact, actually, it's Rodriguez and Velez who are off the back. So 2 riders off the back of the Category 2 race. This is the main pack, and if I'm right, there's 1 rider out of sight and out of mind off the front. I'm going to pick them up as we go through the next sprint section in Category 2. And for Category 2, that'll be the Sandgill sprint.
So whilst Emma is scrutinising another one of the many screens here to make sure that she knows exactly who that is, you can just see our summary of all 4 race categories. 23k covered for Category 4, 21.7. Category 3, Category 2 at the moment of 15 kilometres. We are in with the group here, and it's Bruce Bird and Phil Graves who have gone down the road. 1 Canadian, 1 rider from Great Britain, down the road at the moment, and 2 people who are regularly on the attack. We are in with Phil Graves, international triathlete Phil Graves, and Bruce Bird, a man who is accustomed to riding Grand Fondos and long distances. So a long attack is not really a surprise on both either.
No, Bird's had a 1st place this month, and Graves had a 2nd and a 5th. So they are both on form, and at 15.7 kilometres into the race, they've got a gap of around 20 seconds. Jonas Bjarhed is leading the chase. On the left-hand side of your screen, it's Hayden Pucker, Mikael Plantro, Lyndon Millerstick, Ricardo Panizza. He's been riding well this month, you know. Safra Zadie, Power, Kroll, all at the front of the Category 1 pack. Well, the pack is really a big pack because most of the Category 1 riders are all in that group.
And they're not going to panic, and we saw that. That's one of the
35 of them.
Thank you.
Just thought I'd let you know.
That's it's more than I've got fingers and toes. I'm not sure how you counted that far. So the riders on Category 1. In Category 1, Bjorn Andresen again pushing to the front, wanting to make.
He doesn't want it to be as slow as they're making it.
He doesn't, and I'm just wondering about Bjorn Andresen's time. You've got Hayden Pucker, Johan Noren, Mikael Plantero, Zach Nair, and Bjorn Andresen. They make up the Farm Watt squad. Now, if you are a great sprinter, but not a great climber, and we're going to give no names about who I'm thinking. So you are a good all-round rider, but you are a great sprinter, and you want to take some sting out, or your team wants to take some sting out of the legs on the steep climb, knowing that you can stay with the climbers on the shallow, longer climb and then put a sprint in at the end. That's a great tactic by Bjorn Andresen. Think about who's in that team and think about who that might apply to.
Well, I'll tell you who's in this squad in Category 4, and it's Brian White on the front with Bello, Winfield, Cadabona, Calderon, Cadiz, Carrillo and Agudelo. Those are the 8 riders at the front, and it's a really strong squad, you know, a really strong pack at the front with a small gap back to the chase group. They're at 23.9 kilometres. They're 2K into the Medlin climb. At 22.9, Category 3 leaders are 1k into the Medlin climb, and it's Johan Moreno, but he's got company. 17 kilometres, they're not there yet on Category 2, and that's Burden Graves at the front, and Andreasen is still at the front on Category 1 at 13.6. You know, it's been a steady start from Category 1.
It's, well, in between Bjorn Andreasen giving it some beans.
Well, yeah, and I think that's why he's been giving it some beans.
But they didn't respond. They've not necessarily chased him down. I think that's what Bruce Bird and Phil Graves are hoping, that there is no chase down. At the moment, Linda Milostic and Bjorn Andreasen with a slight gap here, 5 seconds the time gap. But you can see now that there is a move coming. Seb de Wet, 8.5 watts per kilo.
Yeah.
That's not a flat out sprint, but that is a concerted chase.
On a little push as well.
Look at the ground they're making. Look at the distance and how fast they've brought these two riders back. You're the former world champion, Bjorn Andreasen, being brought back at pace by Seb de Wet, one of our finalists at the World Championships, powered by MyWhoosh out in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, and powered by MyWhoosh are indeed the MyWhoosh Werewolves. They've already gone round the corner, and as this chase pack come round the corner, they go round the next corner ahead of them. So they are completely out of sight. So Bird and Graves are two riders leading a Category 2 race at the moment, out of sight of this huge chase field. Now 50 riders on the start sheets in Category 2, and other than one or two riders who have been dropped off the back, they are all in this pack. Ivan Newkey there, you can see him on the screen. Look at concentration. He's in this pack at the moment, towards the front of it, with Thiem, with Milostic, with Popovic, with Mayer, and he really is paying close attention to what is going on, and they're not as bothered about Burden Graves being down the road.
Do you want a random fact about Ivan Newkey?
Go on then.
He's a good runner as well.
Is he?
He is, yeah. He's a good runner as well.
Wow.
He's not just an amazing coach and a great rider. And competing at the moment in a lot of the Grand Fondas, it is in Abu Dhabi. And remember, he's part of the Abu Dhabi Cycling Club. It's a great time. There's lots of riding going on all the way across the UAE at the moment. It is riding season. It's biking season. There's a lot of great rides, a lot of great races going on.
Well, I'll tell you.
Do follow at Abu Dhabi Cycling Club because they cover a lot of the racing.
Well, just watching Andreasen's teammate Zach Nair now come to the front of the pack as well, and that's going to be a really interesting move. But Ollie Jones, he's won twice on this course so far, towards the front as well, with Pucker, with Hammond, with Vink now paying some close attention at the front. They're at 15.4 kilometres, so there's still 30k to go, and it's going to get very interesting.
I've been just doing some thinking.
Oh, careful.
I know. It's dangerous.
It is.
I may have a prediction.
Do you need some funky music?
Well, maybe some dramatic music.
Da, 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 da.
No, that's more triumphant announcement.
Okay.
But maybe it will be by the end. I have had a few moments of I told you so in the show so far, on and off air, so I'm going to go for another one. My prediction is, I know, big-headed man comes. No,
come on!
I've been wrong more often than
now.
I'm right.
You've missed it now because the Sandgill Sprint.
No,
is up.
Sandgill Sprint. Riders are riding through. Every category's gone through at the same time. SS has done his usual and absolutely blind everybody. There we go. Quick summary. The prediction. Prediction is that when Category 1 hit the bottom climb, Michael Vink will ride clear on the first third of the first time and not be seen again.
Oh, there you go. The prediction is out. Michael Vink from the Weekend Warriors, the squad with Jacobs, Knudsen, Vink and Zafrasadi. Matt is predicting that after a third of the climb, he'll be gone.
By a third.
Well,
definitely.
By a third of the sprint, SS came through in 20.513. Labneau, Francis Dont, Clays, Kaminsky, Lepera, Simmons, Llewellyn and Pino. There's one of every colour, one of every category in that top 10 on the Sandgill Sprint.
That is true.
Yeah.
You like a multicolour graphic on the left-hand side of the screen. I like a multicolour listing. I always think that's much better.
Well, one or two riders now being dropped off the back of the Category 1 pack as they hit 16.7 kilometres at 19.9. It's actually 2k to go for the Category 2 pack until they hit the climb. They are one big pack at the moment, and I'm just taking a look. Yes, Bird and Graves are still out front. Category 3, they're well and truly on the climb, and the graphics now that you can see on the bottom left-hand corner of Category 3 and Category 4 race shots really start to indicate what is happening on that climb, and it is all action. Well, it's all action at the moment because Siebdwert is on the front here, dialing it with Mikel Plantero. Plantero's been on some good form recently, you know, and if he can head out and work with Dvert, this could be really interesting.
Two riders, two different teams. That means that two teams won't chase as well. See Divert running for the Wenger boys. Mikel Planter running for the Farm Watt squad. Interestingly, Farm Watt squad, of course, the team
Andreasen.
of Bjorn Andreasen, who has also been on the attack early on. The time is ticking down, though. We continue to push through at 17.5k at the moment. And we have to remember that as the riders continue to push on, they are really, really just squeezing the way into the climb at 21.9k. Now, that is when the first climb starts. I just nodded at Emma. That's really good on commentary, isn't it?
It's not very good to nod. You
No.
need to say the word yes. So Mikhail Kaminsky up and out the saddle, just watching the action here and just making sure he's part and parcel of that group as the pace lifts slightly. Divert and Plantero 10 seconds down the road now. This is a really interesting move. So they're at 17.9, coming up for 18 kilometres. They've got nearly 4k before they get to the base of the climb, and the question is, will those two try and extend their gap and give themselves a long run in to the Medlin climb?
I'm going to change that.
But you just said you can't change your prediction.
The question is, will the group let them go? Because they are going to try, because why would you go clearer than not try? But will the group let them go? Because that, for me, is going to be key. This group have the power to decide and to choose and determine the fate of the escapees. And if this group choose to bring them back, they're not going to stay clear because there's too many strong riders in there. But will they be able to make an opportunistic move? Well, Ruben Dont is in the top 10 through the sprint segment. That snapshot window in. The riders from Category 1 in there as well, Bjorn Andresen and Mikel Plantero, who's on the move. But it's a mix of riders chasing and in the group. No surprise at the top of the standings, SS, Scott Francis, Christopher Laszlo, all sprinting strongly here. Lopera and Bitco also doing the same. Clays, Llewellyn and Co up there. But SS, yet again, nailing the sprint. I'll tell you something, he's getting some great training in en route to the climb as well as going on the climb. When we talk about coaching, when we think about coaching, we think about coaching goals. We think about doing a session where you get multiple wins from one coaching session. SS is doing this on this race. He's getting great training on the sprints, but he's also racing for the overall and also going to race onto the climb, which is where Category 2 have gone with SAS in it. 3 of our groups of riders on the climb. Category 4, the furthest up the climb at 26.5k. Category 3 at 25.8. Category 2 at 22.3, just on there. All of these race fields starting to get strung out. Category 4 well and truly blown apart. Category 3 strung out. Category 2 just starting to break up. Category 1, they're still on the flatlands, and it is still a relatively big group with the 2 riders out front.
Yes.
Trying to tempt the riders to go. Well, it's Sayed Safazadi who's just lifted the pace up. He went to 5 watts per kilo. He's now gone to 9 watts per kilo.
Yeah.
He's gone after them, and I think he's gone after them because Pucker went down the road there in front of him.
Well, Pucker may have gone down the road, but Pucker also is a teammate of Plantero and Andreasen. So the Farm Watt squad, well, I think they've got a really sorted plan, a very detailed plan as to what their action is today. And Safra Zaidi, part and parcel of the Weekend Warriors, well, he's been on form this month, and so is Michael Vink. Knudsen is there as well, and I don't think they can afford to let them go. So one of the squad's now starting to respond, but the pace has now come off Safra Zaidi. He's trying to let somebody else do the work, and no one wants to. And you can see that because they are now going wide across the road. Well, Squillari, you can see him in the mix here in this Category 3 race at 26.3 kilometres. He's in with Oviedo, Ridley, Van Velegum, Kochikov, Edwards, Yeast. This is the leading group in Category 3.
So category 3, the leading group have
Look
two
at the
breakaway
work.
riders in front. There is some serious effort on the move there. They're really, really working hard to keep the two riders in front in check. You cannot let riders go. The problem with this climb, for me, if you let riders go early, they can make big time on the steep section. And that means that if you're not a climber, you've got to work like an absolute loon on the FRB, the flat rolling section that comes after.
Well, they've only got 900 metres left of the climb, and it is worthwhile digging now for that 900 metres and putting everything on the line. And that's what they're doing in Category 3. In Category 2, SS has now been distanced on the climb, and he's one of the riders suffering in the Category 2 race. But the Category 2 race, I'll tell you something, they're suffering up ahead as well, because at 23.3 kilometres, it's a line of riders.
It is, and it's Pablo Popovic of the UAE clan team. Good to see Pablo Popovic, who is leading this chase. The time is tumbling down to the two leaders, Bruce Bird and Phil Graves, as Popovic nails this train up here. He's like a locomotive towing a load of carriages behind it. At the moment, the links that join them together are getting strained because he's continuing to push. Pierre Fell, he's on a great month. So is Mr. X100. So is Mohamed El Alami. They are trying to hold on to Popovic, who is bringing back the leaders, and it has done damage to the UAE teammate SS, who has now been distanced, as Emma said.
Well, I'm going to give you a little update because Category 4 are over the top of the Medlin climb. A bellow goes over the fastest with White, Cadiz, Winfield and Cridland. A couple of seconds back, and he's closed it down, and Cadabona is back on the group. So the leading group has gone from 5 to 6. And then we've got a 12-second gap to Morgan and Amma. And Alalusa is there as well. So is Rojas. It's going to be interesting to see whether they can bring the gap down. They are working on it, and I'll tell you, it is closing.
This section, the FRB, flat rolling bumpy section, it's a transitional section. Imagine it's a Grand Tour stage between two mountain ranges. That's exactly what this is like in miniature. It has descents, it has climbs, it has long drag sections, but it is all compressed down from the end of the Medlin City climb at 27.4k to 31k, which is where we start the last climb, the Bogatar climb, that really long climb of 13.5 kilometers that takes us up to within 500 meters of the finish. That will be the precursor to our actual finishing line at 45 kilometers. Who's going to be in it to win it in Category 1? Well, they've hit the climb. They are on to climb number 1, the Medlin City climb. 5.5 kilometers long, 6.1%. The average gradient, a very standard grade up there. It varies only 1 or 2% really most of the way up this climb. And at the moment, as this gap starts to stretch, we are seeing riders going off the back. Off the front, though, there is a gap that has opened up in Category 1. It looks to me like this is going to be a decisive climb today.
Well, it's going to be an interesting climb because the riders who gave themselves some sliding room and went off the front before the climb look as though they're still off the front. Well, Category 2, we're in with Syed Keridin, and you can see him on your screen at the moment. He's part and parcel of the pack on the screen too, with Krasnich, Thiem, X100, El Alami and Simmons. Millerstick is there. Popovic and Graves 3 seconds up the road. So is Bird. Popovic has closed down that gap to Graves and Bird. And
nobody could stay with him when he went across.
Nope.
He tried to. He was chasing to pull the gap down, and he just bridged across. The rest of the group have taken longer to get
just
back.
3 seconds, though. Just 3 seconds in that Category 2 race.
So at the moment, you can see Rodriguez, the rider who's being closed down. Seb de Veer at the moment has got a gap. He went on the attack and he has got a gap. You can see Seb de Veer on his way. He has got company. 2 riders clear at the front of the group, and it's Plantero and de Veer who attacked coming into the climb before they hit the actual gradients of the climb, who have got that gap, and that gap is about 12 seconds back. The chase is coming though. Kaminsky, Safrazadi, Vink, Jones, all in pursuit. We're in with Safrazadi at the moment. He is in pursuit. He wants to bring these riders back. Kaminsky is on form. He got the guns out early on when we saw him on camera. I'm sure he's working hard at the moment. The man who's definitely focused, Safrazadi, you can see him in person on the left-hand side of your screen there. The bottle there to keep hydrated. You can see making sure that he stays on those wheels. He holds that wheel.
Well, Kaminsky, Jones, Noren, Safrazadi are battling it out. They are here. They are together. They are trying to close the gap down to the riders ahead. Kaminsky on our screen now. You can see the work he's doing, part and parcel of this 4-rider group. They are chasing and chasing hard. Johan Noren just off the back with Panizza, and Yasin Turek is there as well. It's a long, long line, and there's seconds separating all of them. They are working so hard. De Wet and Plantero are the 2 riders at the front of the pack. It's 1 second now to Michael Vink. De Wet and Plantero have done a phenomenal job, but it's not going to stick.
It's not. It's not going to stick. Here they come. This is a group back together again in Category 1 with the big hot favourites in there, including my tip, Michael Vink. I was going to try and do the maths and work out where a third of the way up this climb is, because I think it's just gone. And we think we just passed it, but we will see. It could be an moment for Matt. However, it's no moment for the riders in this group, because they at the moment are on the move. Ivan Yuki, though, is clearly on form. He's putting those endurance miles. We're racing those Grand
climbing
Fondos.
legs are working.
They are indeed. He is on a move. He's on the attack. He's out of the saddle. Some great riding by him through these last few weeks. It's riding season, and it is Ivan Yuki's season. He is moving, smiling on his way up here, and that means he's using less energy. It takes less effort to pull a smiley face and a frowny face.
Well, can I tell you, last week he messaged, because after the Sunday race club, where he'd put in a really strong performance, he messaged to say, oh my goodness, what a weekend. I need some recovery now, because he'd done the Grand Fondo on the Saturday, then he'd race the Sunday race club on the Sunday. And I'll tell you something, if he did take those days off the bike this week he was chatting to me about, then he could be on great form today.
And that's it. You overload the body. You stress the body, you make it work hard, and then you let it recover. And that recovery phase is really, really critical. A lot of the coaches will tell you that on the MyWhoosh live coaching. They'll talk to you at the start and after. I know Emma, when she's been in the Full Speed Event Studios doing the live coaching, she has been telling people when I've been walking past, this is a recovery. So this is to get your legs. But knowing what you're doing in that training, really, really key. So do make sure you jump on those live coaching sessions. Are you on tomorrow?
12:30 UK, lunchtime.
12:30 UK lunchtime. And what sort of session is that going to be? Do you know?
Oh,
you must know.
I've already scheduled it, but I can't remember what I put in. It will be something zone 2, zone 3, maybe with a little leg spin.
So it's not a flat-out effort, because it's
Monday
coming
session
after a weekend, which is usually a heavy load session for riders. Okay, well, if you want to spin your legs out, don't forget you can jump on with Emma. Don't forget, at the end of the Sunday Race Club, there is the social ride after. Ivan Yuki at the moment, well, he's been unsociable. He's gone down the road, and I don't blame him.
It's 9 seconds clear, though.
Sometimes you've got to have some time to yourself, and I tell you what a way to do it. That is a steely focus from Ivan Yuki now. You can see he's out of the saddle here. This is 6.8 now, 7%, 7.3. It keeps on going up here. The top is not far away, and he's going to go over the top here with the gap. He has just gone past the sprint leader in Category 3. That's Christoph Lasno. Category 4, Christoph Lasno. And at the moment, Yuki, he needs another target. I think Jocobone is 5 seconds in front. He's got to keep pushing behind. El Alami is the rider who is chasing him. That's a 12-second gap, though.
Well, it is. I gave you an update with Category 4 going over the Medlin climb. I can confirm Category 3 have gone over as well. And I'm just going to give you a quick update. Now, Batty goes over, setting the fastest time up the Medlin climb in Category 3. Kisnowski in 2. Paredes in 3. Yees in 4. Kalman, Oyer, Edwards, Van Velegum, Diduch, Ridley, Squilari, Kochkov, Tidholm. They are all over the line. 22. There's a lot of riders. I reckon there's about 35 of the Category 3 riders over the top of the Medlin climb already.
So Category 4 and Category 3 over the top. Ivan Nuki leading Category 2. Category 1 at the moment.
Look at
Jones,
this.
Vink and Safazadi are starting to eke out a gap. It is 6 seconds to Vyasin and Kaminsky, with Turek further back as well. So at the moment, the gaps have opened. If you are in the leading trio, triumvirate of talent, we have Ollie Jones, regular winner on this course, a rider who we know works well. Michael Vink, hot tip from the top from somebody who might know something about bike racing. And say Safazadi, a rider who seems at the moment to find it very difficult to be outside of the sharp end of the race. He's always in the mix at the moment, and he's on some blisteringly quick form. All 4 sets of riders on your screen. Category 4 at the moment, furthest on the road and currently on to climb number 2. Category 3 chasing. Category 2 leader, well, at the moment, that is Ivan Nuki. A bit further back, you can see we're in with SS. He has got the leaders in Category 1 coming behind. That is the 3 yellow jerseys just going alongside Daniel Valencia in that blue jersey, passing him and moving up on to the wheels of SS. Angarita and SS, see them come past, and look at the pace of Category 1. They are on a mission.
Well, I said this was a course that Ollie Jones likes and goes well on, and he's going well today. He's with Vink and Safrazadi as they're continuing to tick off the Category 2 riders. Abitco is the rider they've just gone past. The next rider in their sights will be Justin Roy from Category 3, but he's still around 37 seconds up the road. He's got company because Betty and Kolwiski are with them up the road, so they are chasing. Meanwhile, at the front of the Category 2 pack, Ivan Nuki has already gone under the banner, underneath the polka dot banner. There he is on the bridge. He's got a 6-second gap to El Alami, X100, Christoph Thiem, Anders Bengtsson. He's going to get caught, I think, on the flat, rolly, bumpy section. Keradine is their Thiem, Krasnich, Brune, Milostick, Nitko, Gombert, Darn and Graves. I've got 13 riders in Category 2 in contention.
And Ivan Nuki has just proved he's the strongest climber on that first climb. He then will need to prove that again. This is the chasing group. This is a huge group of riders. And I'm not sure he would want this many riders to come back, because it turns it back into a game of odds. You've got a lot more riders. You might have somebody who's a bit more rested in that group, because not everybody in that group will have gone on to their limit on that climb. And it might be that then they can take him on. Nuki continuing to push on the front. The chase coming from that group behind. Meanwhile, in Category 1, Michael Vink at 8 watts per kilo starting to do damage. Looks like Jones and Safrazadi fighting to stay on the wheels here. We're coming up towards the top of the climb. It looks like Vink may well be able to break clear of the top. He's just putting the power down in Category 1. That's at the top of climb number 1. On to climb number 2. The leaders in Category 3, well, at the moment, they are chasing. I think we've got a group chasing the lead rider, solo rider in Category 3. We have yet to get confirmation of that, but at the moment, this is still another big group with Isin here. It's a long climb, though, this last climb. There's a long way to make a difference in here, and that is going to be key. Back with Category 2, the catch, I think, is going to be made. We're going to go a little bit further down the hillside. Che Howala, one of our regulars on screen in the Pain Cave there, and at the moment, he is just watching the riders in the lead go clear. Vink and Jones behind him, though, is Safrazadi.
Yeah, Safrazadi has been dropped. 30 seconds back now from Vink and
when
Jones.
You go.
Well,
my goodness,
when you
great
do, you
ride
do.
to stay that long, but that's got to be hurting.
Absolutely, and Vink and Jones dialing it at the moment, side by side on the race at 28.8 kilometers. This is the Category 2 race. We're at the front, and Ivan Nuki still 6 seconds clear. Safrazadi now coming up to the polka dot banner, signifying the top of the Medlin climb. Jones and Vink already through. Ollie Jones setting the fastest time on the climb, but very, very close to Vink, side by side all the way up. This is Safrazadi coming through. He will be in third. Vyasin Kaminsky. Well, Vyasin and Kaminsky are just 12 seconds back. Then Turek. This is looking good for Alpha Jaw, I can tell you that.
They're looking like they may well have got this stitched up already, but they've got to make it all the way to the finish. Good to see Michael Nuss and Steve DeVitt right in the mix with Panizza and Plantro just behind them. At the moment, though, you can see the riders coming through. Jones, Vink, Safrazedi, Kaminsky, Vujas in the fastest times they have come through. I have to say, you can see the difference between Category 1 and Category 2. Ivan Yuki blew his way with that climb in an incredible pace. 2 minutes and 5 down on the time of Ollie Jones.
Well, I'll tell you something. If Michael Vink and Said Safrazedi can, hang on out there and Knudsen can squeeze on. Knudsen could give, the Weekend Warriors could give AlphaJaw a run for their money, and it could be close, but it's all going to come down to this last climb. And this last climb is 13.5 kilometers.
It's a long climb, and at the end of that, the last 500 meters are not flat. They start to level out, but they're definitely not flat, so you've got to add that in. And remember, of course, when you hit the climb at 31k, you've already got a lot of racing in your legs. That's sort of where our Category 1 leaders are heading. Our Category 2 leaders heading there as well. That's Ivan Yuki. The riders in Category 3 and 4 both on to the climb. 500 meters separating the leaders on the road, which are Category 4 from Category 3 leaders. They are at 34.6k at the moment. All 4 groups of leaders doing an amazing job. Johan Moreno there in that MyWhoosh black and gold jersey on to this climb, 34.7k. Out of the saddle here, riding strongly in Category 3. He's got Nicholas Spratt for company, working well at the front of the Category 3 race. And I'll tell you something, Johan Moreno, a man from the Italian Espresso team of old, who is currently riding in Category 3 and working well for the ZTBR squad. He's going... like an espresso. He's got Spratt for company. Interestingly, Spratt riding not for the same team, but for the Take That team. So they're going to be starting to get some time. In Category 2, on to the final climb. Go the leading group here. Mr. X100 currently pushing just shy of 6 watts per kilo, trying to hold on to these riders. And Ivan Yuki did not come back on the FRB. Prediction 1. I think we've both blown our predictions here. That didn't happen for you, and the Michael Vink going clear didn't happen for me. So
you can't get it right every week,
And that's the great thing about bike racing. If it was so predictable that we could get it right all the time, life would be really dull. The whole point of bike racing is that it changes. We've got so many different riders racing on the Sunday Race Club, time and time again, different tactics, so many different possible scenarios. It is amazing to see, really good to watch. Ollie Jones at the moment, looking strong. The moment, leading Michael Vink through. Jones in this polka dot skin suit because he had the fastest time up the climb, although they went over the top almost together. Brilliant ride by him, going clear and with Vink and holding the pressure at the moment on Vink. He is leading this out, and Jones tapping away a really nice rhythm. Now, Jones is riding for the AlphaJaw squad.
Yes.
Vink is riding for the Weekend Warriors.
Yes.
Then we've got gaps back.
Yes.
This is really going to... It's not going to be predictable what happens in the team competition.
It's all going to be about those gaps and who comes where. Not necessarily in terms of position, but in terms of time. That is what is important. Now, if Michael Vink can ride away from Ollie Jones, that will put more time in to allow the Weekend Warriors to close down. If Ollie Jones can stay with Michael Vink, it really makes it interesting. It looks at the moment, and there's Ollie Jones is trying to ride away from Michael Vink. Well, that is also another tactic to ensure the AlphaJaw squad take the win. The polka dot banner is coming. This is going to signify the start of the Bogatar climb for Category 1 with 47 minutes in of racing. We've got 13.5 kilometers climbing and then 500 meters till the finish flag. Well, I can tell you the gap backs are not big. So Vujasin, Safrazedi and Kaminsky are together. It's looking like they are just about to go underneath that banner as well. And you can see there they are swinging round under the corner. They've got Gates, Karlstrom, Rushmore and Clays, Category 2 riders ahead of them as Vujasin mounts the attack at the bottom of the climb.
I love
Gonna
this.
be
I
so
love
interesting.
This is a really, really interesting course. Now, if you want to come and join, don't forget you can download the app on iOS, on Android, on Windows. Make sure you do that. Jump on board for December. We've got lots of great racing, lots of great riding to be done. If you don't want to jump on board and ride and race, then don't forget you can jump on board and train, go do social rides as well. Don't forget, of course, there's lots of great information and out there on the MyWhoosh indoor cycling page on Facebook.
Yes.
And of course, loads of great videos going live on YouTube. Subscribe, like the feed, and make sure you jump on board and do have a little bit of a catch up. Emma and I, if you want to find out a little bit more about Emma and I, you can go to episode 11 of Inside the Ride, the MyWhoosh podcast, which we're on. We'd really love to get those comments. Don't forget, you can get in touch with us on social media. You can get hold of Emma at Biking Emma. And carrying on a little thread from the women's race earlier on, get in touch with me at Matt Fixerpain and tell me the worst thing a coach has ever told you or the best thing a coach has ever told you, whether that is move up when you're at the back of the race and you can't go any quicker, or whether the worst thing was, well done, you were last. And I've actually said,
well
had a
done,
coach
you
say
got
that.
off the sofa.
Exactly. I wanted them to say, brilliant, well done, you got to the end, fantastic, not well done, you were last. But there you go. Let us know. I would love to hear all your comments. Send me those on Instagram at Matt Fixerpain.
Well, if you want to join Ivan Nuki and the gang next week on Qualifier 1 in December, head over to mywhoosh.com, click on the events page and scroll down to the Sunday Race Club. That's where you'll find the technical guide and the rules and regs and all you need to know about getting yourself on the start line of the Sunday Race Club. On that events page, you'll also find other information about the other races and events going on, as well as the live coaching. You can click on the live coaching button on the events page and it will give you the full calendar for November, and very shortly that calendar will be updated for December, and then it gives you the opportunity to schedule in those sessions to your training and riding.
And speaking of coaches on your screens at the moment, Ivan Nuki, he will be telling himself to dig in, dig deep. He's had a 6-second gap. They've been chasing him. Missed X100 at the moment at 3 seconds. Krasnich at 4. The pressure that's been put on by Nuki has blown the Category 2 race apart. Behind, they are coming, but he should be able to find himself in amongst the select group. Now, what he's got to do, he's got to get the timing right here. When you get caught on the front of the race, when you are at the front, you've been away, and the group behind are coming up to you, you've got to get in that group. You've got to get the recovery done without going into the red zone too far. So you've got to almost start easing back. Know that you're going to get caught. You cannot keep pushing to the last possible second because you are so in the red, you are in danger of the group blowing past, particularly when you've got riders of the class of John Brune, James Krasnich, Sir Carradine, all chasing you down as part of this big group. So Nuki's tactic, if it was to do damage and to bring this group down to a more manageable number, job achieved. If it was to get the amazing polka dot skin suit, job achieved. If it was to stay clear, well, he's still holding them at a few seconds. He's gone back up to 7. It's a long way to go. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but at the moment, they've got more than 10K to the finish.
Well, that's not the bearer of bad news. That's 10K of exciting racing
it's
to go.
It's great for us. I'm not so sure it's good when you're holding a tenuous 6-second lead on a climb and have been away. It's so hard. I mean, all power to the riders. If they can stay clear on this amazing job done. Now, Category 1, I was just taking a quick look then as we scrolled across. Michael Vink was attacking Ollie Jones in the 54 times they've raced each other on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Ollie Jones has beaten Michael Vink 20 times, which if you do the maths means that Michael Vink has beaten Ollie Jones 34 times.
Over 3 years?
It's
got to be over 3 years.
Excuse me. That goes back to 22nd of October 2021.
Yes.
It is. Oh, I see. No, it might even be further. So 27th of August 2021. It's not quite complete. The stats I'm looking at because they have raced each other longer than that. But at the moment, Michael Vink is looking to add to his tally and make that 35 times that he's taken away the win over Ollie Jones. At the moment, they are fighting it out. That battle continues onwards. Now, back in with Category 4. Brilliant racing in here. Brian White is on great form at the moment. JD Abello, Cadiz, Cirillo, Winfield, Morgan. They're inside of a minute. It's 40 seconds separates White in first from Morgan in sixth. Just outside those top 5 prize money paying places even. I thought I might get to the end of that one without stumbling.
Well, you know, so White and Abello and
more coffee required.
Well, Abello has had a first place and a third place this month already. White has had a third, so they both know what it takes to push on at the front. Winfield, Cadiz, Carrillo. Well, those 3 riders are at 22 seconds. They're not quite in sight. They will be just coming around the corner at the bottom very, very shortly. And then there's a further around 15 seconds gap back to Morgan. So I think this is White and Abello going to battle this out, because I'm not sure Cadiz, Carrillo and Winfield are going to join them, but you just don't know what will happen, because as you indicated, Matt, there's some significant racing still to do, over 6 kilometres in that Category 4 race still to go. Now, Olivier Simmons is watching Michael Vink ride past him. So I tell you what, Vink is motoring his way through this Category 2 race pack on the road as they come up past the waterfall on the right-hand side. Ritter, Simmons, Bendetti are the riders separating Vink and Jones. And I tell you something, Jones is hanging in there. He's only at 7 seconds on Michael Vink. So Vink putting in the effort, but actually Jones not having a problem.
So here we go, Olivier Simmons on the climb here. We've got Bendetti with him for company. 17 seconds back to McCarroll. This is going to continue to push on. I think this battle all the way in to the finish. We're going to take a quick break for a couple of seconds whilst we just keep an eye on these riders. Time for us to do a little bit of a refuel ourselves before we get into the finish. Well, I've refueled on coffee because I am hello, my name's Matt. I'm a coffee addict. Emery's just finishing her isotonically, perfectly balanced, in tune with your body energy drink at the moment.
I've got lemon squash.
That's almost that. Do you know
squash is a very British drink?
Squash is like a fruit juice that you dilute down for anybody who's a fruit syrup. For anybody who is maybe not doesn't know squash, it's not the perfect drink. But I tell you something,
it does work good on the back of the throat whilst talking.
What you need is whatever Ivan Nuki's drinking at the moment, because
11
he has
seconds.
opened the gap back up again. Come on, Ivan. Ivan Nuki, inspirational coach to hundreds and hundreds of riders at the Abu Dhabi Cycling Club. At the moment, I tell you something, I love it when people can not just talk the talk, but can walk the walk, and Ivan Nuki can do that.
Well, not that you're impartially encouraging him on up this race climb at the moment, Matt. But Olivier Simmons, Maurice Ritter, they are motoring. They're trying to hang on to the coattails of Ollie Jones at the moment. I tell you, Jones is moving, and he's 10 seconds the gap still to Vink. He's continuing to move and continuing to climb as Bendetti, Ritter and Simmons continue to chase in the Category 2 race. And this is where they're chasing, because Brune, Carradine, El Alami, Millistick are chasing. This is the chase group. This is the group behind Nuki. They're 13 seconds back.
I love this race. We've got Nuki on the front opening the gap. Come on, Ivan. We've got the chasing group down. Come on, get after him. What are you doing? Don't let him go. Get the gap close down. And that's what we want to see.
Look how close this Category 3 race is. We've got two huge groups. Two huge groups on the road here in Category 3, and they're closing it down.
They are. It's what I love about the racing is when riders are aggressive, when they're brave, when they're bold, they go for it. And then you see the response. And then you see somebody picks up those reins. Somebody takes on that work. And then they've got to dig deep to go after that. This is what the beautiful thing about bike racing is, that every body, if they want that win, they've got to put themselves on the line at some point. It's so difficult on the racing when it's at this level to be able to say, just can't do this. Now, Category 3 leaders. Henry East, Lewis Ridley, Henrik Oyer have a 6-second gap on Damien Kirsnowski and a 7-second gap on MyWhoosh Kalman. They are up the road ahead of the Category 2 and ahead of the Category 3. Category 4 are in front, but not many of them. Meanwhile, the man who is leading the charge, chasing down Avenue Key, is Mr. X100. Come on, Mr. X100. He's on his way. Do you know what he's done? He's got 8 seconds on the bunch behind. He's bridging across. This will make 2 on the front. And this is what I think Ivan Nuki needs. He needs 1 or 2 strong riders to come across because we have still got 7.5 kilometers to the finish. You need some company. I think it's just too far to solo. They're just having some company, getting a break. They're traveling at 20 kilometers an hour plus on this climb because of the gradient. And if you can shelter, you are still going to get some advantage in being in the wheels. Now, Nuki on the front. Mr. X100 making company, making a twosome, giving chase, bringing him in to his sights. Behind him, the group are still chasing, but Mr. X100 has bridged across to Ivan Nuki, and now these two need to work together. Nuki almost there was waiting, I think. He knew he was on his way, and now he's tapping out a rhythm again. They want to start to break clear. One man who is riding solo is Michael Vink. Vink has got 13. Yep, 1-3 seconds on Ollie Jones.
Well, can I just tell you, in that Category 2 race, those 4 riders at the top in 4 different teams. So Nuki from the Abu Dhabi team, Nico from MDFS, Theme from the MyWhoosh Werewolves, and X100 from the UAE Clan team. That team competition is going to run to the wire.
It's going to go all the way to the UCI banner. Remember, that MyWhoosh is the UCI's official partner for cycling esports for 2024, 25 and 26. And the Great Worlds of Zurich and Switzerland and the World Championships, of course, are available to ride on the platform. You can jump on board on there. MyWhoosh, of course, down in Zurich in person at the Road World Championships, which incorporate the Para Games. Emma on the mic there for that. Looking forward to seeing the team again. I'm sure we'll see them at many more championships. Not sure they're going to be going to the Cyclocross World Championships coming up. That's the next of the other disciplines I can think of. Well, the Urban World Championships, in fact,
is in Abu Dhabi.
Is coming to Abu Dhabi in December. So really looking forward to that. All those cycling disciplines covered by the UCI, including Gran Fondo, which is what Ivan Nuki has been doing, those ultra-long distances where you are making the racing happen across such a long timescale, such a big distance. And at the moment, looking at this, Mr. X100 and Ivan Nuki, although they're together, Nuki is setting the pace again.
Well, and the chase is coming from behind because El Alami and Millerstick are absolutely dialing it behind, and the gap was at 12 seconds. It's now at 9. It's slowly coming down as X100 and Nuki continue to push. Peter Millerstick has come to the front of the pack, and we know what he's like in the closing stages of a race. He's absolutely like a dog with a bone.
He is, and I think he's breaking clear of the bunch with El Alami. Krasnich, I think he's sitting at 13 seconds now. That means that they've opened 5 seconds, so it could be that 2 are being chased by 2, being chased by the pack. And in fact, that's confirmed on the left-hand side of your screen on the radar view, because you can see that we have our leading duo, we have a chasing duo, and then we have the chasing pack. They're almost equidistant either side of the chasers. And Nuki really is burying himself. This is where you've got to dig all the way in. When you get to the finish line, it doesn't matter. After that, you don't need to do anything but flop down over the handlebars of the bike and celebrate what you've achieved, whether that is taking the win or whether that is just getting over the finish line. It doesn't make any difference. It is a huge, huge, huge achievement. Now, back with the Category 3 and Category 4 riders. At the moment, you can see we are in with Buamur. He's been right in the mix all the way through. He's 13 seconds clear of Morgan. He can just see the chasers in Category 3, the biggest chasing bunch, go through in front of him. Right up at the front of the race, Brian White has now got 4 seconds
on a bellow.
So, JD, Joseph Dexter Abello, there you go. Yeah, amazing what random facts we give you. Dexter on his way up there. Currently at 5 seconds on Brian White, and Brian White riding really well.
Yeah, he is indeed, and really pushing strongly towards the end of this race. A Bello 5 seconds back, and I'll tell you who's coming, and that's the lead in the Category 3 race. Henrik Oya and Lewis Ridley are the ones pushing on now. Oya took his first win ever on the Sunday Race Club this month. He could be up for his second, but a Bello has had a first place this month as well, and a third. Is he going to take a second? Because White is going to nip him on the line.
But it would be White's second win as well if he took that, because his first win was on a very different course in Australia in Wollongong. But that was in September this year as well. That was qualifier race number 4, September.
Well, I'll tell you something.
Great months with 5 races in it.
Nuki and X100 are about to be caught, because El Alami and Milostick are going to close the gap, and it is going to be now a leading group
down behind as
leading group of 4 in the Category 2 race. But the gap is being closed because Krasnich is coming, Nitko is coming. It's going to become a bigger group in Category 2.
I'm going to use one of our French commentary team's phrase, oh la la, because they are closing down. The drama is there. Don't forget, you can, of course, get the commentary
in French
and in Arabic as well. Our colleagues bring in you those streams. We do actually quite regularly watch back in different languages.
We do.
Just
it's
to
good
see.
fun.
It is indeed good fun, but we would love you, of course, to subscribe and be with us each and every week when we are here, which is every Sunday all the way through. And great to see these riders in action week in, week out on the Sunday Race Club. You can join them. I know we keep saying this sounding like a stuck record, but do you know what? You may want to play this different. You may be screaming at your TV screens at the moment going, oh, you've got to push now. Oh, my goodness, it's come back. What you need to do is this. Well,
5
jump on board and prove
now.
it. Come on board and put your legs where your mouth is and get riding. And that's where it counts now. Rider at the lead of the race, Brian White, at the moment. He is one of only 2 riders not caught by Category 3. Not that far behind are the Category 2 chasers. We are coming into the last few K and not all that far behind. And Michael Vink is on the move. He is absolutely rocketing up here. He's got just under 5K to go.
Yeah, I'll tell you something, though. Ollie Jones is holding him at 12 seconds. Vuyasin, the next rider, at 1:23. So it is all on at the moment and all to play for. Carradine, Bankston, Brune, Theme, Nick Cohen, Graves of the chase group in the Category 2 race. And I'll tell you something, they are not far behind. It's a few seconds, and I mean like 2 or 3. They're going to come back together, I think, with the there you go, look, it is indeed 3 seconds. I think they're going to come back together with Nuki and X100, and we are going to see a much larger group. This is the group that's going to form right now at 41 kilometers, 4K from the finish.
Well, the book was written. Was it the final twist in the tail when they all come back together again? Or will we see another great plot twist as these riders continue to push up? They have come back together. The initial attack of Bruce Bird and Phil Graves on the way into the climb, it shifted, it changed, it took a whole different direction. We saw Ivan Yuki on the attack. He was brought back. Now, what will happen is these riders make their way through the Category 3 and 4 riders. They will get drafted on the way through. Mr. X100 currently chasing Angus Benson, currently chasing Nico, Carradine and co. This is going to be critical. You've got to keep in touch. We are now into the last 5K for Category 4, Category 3, Category 2 and Category 1 are hitting that marker as well. Meanwhile, Brian White, the leader on the road, has got that gap opened even more. It's now 13 seconds back to JD Abello as he goes underneath the Bogatar climb banner. That means that he is now within 500 meters of our race finish here on the monthly race finals here on MyWhoosh.
Right, he is indeed, and White has gone over the Bogatar climb. He's coming towards the finish line. JD Abello goes over as well. That's 2 riders in Category 4 into the final 500 meters. On the right-hand side of your screen, the battle is on in Category 2 because it's all come together, and John Brune has attacked off the front in the confusion because Michael Vink, and I say confusion, Michael Vink has caught them, giving an opportunity for them to watch Vink, but also take a look at what is going on ahead and try and break the group.
So at the moment, as our leaders in on the road are very close to the finish, Brian White now coming into his last 200 meters. Category 1 leaders coming through Category 3 and Category 4, approaching Category 2 leaders. He's actually right behind him is Michael Vink, but this man is going to lead them all home here today at the summit of the climb. It is going to be Brian White who takes away his second victory on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Is behind him Oviedo, Eason, Kirsnowski open this up. So White takes the victory. It's going to be Oviedo who takes the victory in Category 3. He came over the line just behind him. Category 4 and 3 almost simultaneously coming in and across the line. What a race, what a sprint, what a result. Emma, run us through Category 3 and Category 4 as we have them at the moment.
Well, so Oviedo comes over in first place in Category 3. Henry Yeast takes second. Kirsnowski takes third. Moreno takes fourth. And Ridley takes 5. Van Vellegem, Diedutch, Oyer, Kochkov and Kalman rounding out the top 10 in Category 3. Brian White takes the win in Category 4. Abello comes through in second and Cridland in third.
Oh, are you sure?
Yes, because Cadiz has just come over the line for fourth.
No, that's Cirillo in third. I think it is Clinton Day for Cirillo.
It is indeed.
My
apologies.
It's absolutely frantic at the moment. The speed and pace. I love the fact the racing's close, but my goodness, it makes it hard to spot absolutely all these riders. Now, Burma on his way in, chasing David Winfield, who came in and across the line. It's going to be Burma, our next finisher in here. He is going to take what is going to be a 6th place here today in Category 4. Remember, though, that the team competition is 3 riders in each team, their times added together, and that time is critical. In Category 2, it is wide open as Category 1 race leader Michael Vink has come up to the leading group. The 5 riders from Category 2 are trying to hold on to his wheel. They are desperately scrambling. Can anybody match the pace of Vink? Milostic is the nearest at the moment. And then you can see that we've got Krasnich, Yuki, Mr. X100 and El Alami. That is the riders who are trying to stay with him at the moment. In fact, Peter Milostic has opened up the throttles and stayed with him. Nuki's desperate to do this. This is going to be key for those top 5 positions. Lose contact, now you could be in real trouble. 43.4k covered. Vink has come through, and these riders who were right on the limit are being pushed beyond them. Now is the time to dig. 3 riders left from Category 2 with Michael Vink, and it looks to me like Nuki and Alami are both being dropped off the back of the leading group of Category 2.
Well, they are indeed, and it is coming to the fore now with 1.4 kilometres to go for the leaders in Category 1 and the leaders in Category 2. Who is going to take this? The long-time leader, Ivan Nuki, now looking like he's getting dropped off the group at 3 seconds. The pace is really starting to hot up because they're hanging on to Vink's coattails. Krasnich, Milostic, X100 trying to hang on there. Are they going to blow? Is this the right thing to do? Can Yuki pick it back up? Who knows?
So it's that battle unfolds in Category 2, chasing the Category 1 race leader. Let's just do a little bit of housekeeping and try and get a little bit ahead of ourselves. Team competition. In Category 3, ZTBR are going to take that away with the top spot from Take That in second, Gold Grabbers in third, and the Otero Alliance in 4th. In Category 4, Level Up have won the team competition from Mighty Ducks. Remember, all of these results are unofficial at the moment. They have yet to be verified at the end of the race. However, there's still plenty more prizes up for grabs. Remember, 5 teams taking away prize money, 5 individuals taking away prize money in each of our race categories. Michael Vink at the moment is lining himself up to take away the 10,000 AED for the win in Category 1. Who's going to take it away in Category 2? They're coming up to the banner, and at the moment, James Krasnich is answering these moves by Vink. Vink is now at 7.5 watts per kilo, now 8, and the elastic has snapped. He has just gone clear, I think, and that may well mean that the riders are now left to their own devices, and Vink has well and truly them apart. Michael Vink, the leader in Category 1, goes through. That is going to be the fastest time by some margin up the climb. up the second of our 2 categorized climbs, the Bogatar climb. He's only a few hundred meters to go.
Well, he does only have a few hundred meters to go, but the chase is on in Category 1. X100 and Krasnich, the 2 riders banking on taking the win, but Vink is not out of sight for them yet. They're continuing to push and continuing to use his draft, and continuing to use the motivation of him being in front. So X100 and Krasnich coming, but the chase is on behind from Millerstick as well.
So here we go. This is the run for the line for Michael Vink. This is the moment of glory. Michael Vink is going to solo his way up here. Another race win for Vink. This time round, it's the Sunday Race Club Finals in November. Michael Vink, your winner in Category 1. Category 2 is going to go to the line, and it looks like Mr. X100 is going to take them over the line from Krasnich, from Milostic and Alami. We're going to get confirmation of that very shortly indeed. Alami is chasing behind. Just going to keep a little bit of a check. It looks like it is Mr. X100 in 1 in Category 2. In 2 in Category 2 is James Krasnich. In 3 in Category 2 is Peter Milostic. In 4 is going to be Mohammed El Alami in Category 2. And that is really going to mix up the team competition.
Well, it is indeed. But in Category 1, Ollie Jones has just come over the line for Alpha Jaw. The battles are still on throughout Category 2 with Bengston and Carradine coming in here. Just behind them is Mikhail Kaminsky. So Kaminsky now coming through what is going to look like 3rd place in the Category 1 race side. Safrazadi is there. Lionel Vuyasin is there. Vuyasin now pushing on. Seb Dver is not far behind either. They're coming through thick and fast now as we're watching Vuyasin come under the banner.
What a race in all of our race categories. Time to get some results. Let's look at something slightly calmer. It's the results screen. So should we do this in reverse order? Let's go for the individual competition in categories 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll go backwards, shall we ever?
Okay.
Category 4,
okay.
Individual.
Hold on. Okay, so in first place in Category 4, Brian White, from JD and Bello, from Carrillo. So let me just say that. Sorry, I'm so mixed up because we've got 3s and 4s. I'm going to start this again. So Brian White takes 1, Bello takes 2, Cirillo takes 3, Cadiz takes 4, Winfield takes 5 in Category 4.
In Category 3, the category above, you can see, I think it was Oviedo, was it?
It was indeed Oviedo from Yeast, from Kiesnowski, Moreno and Ridley. In Category 2, X100 from Krasnich, Millerstick, El Alami, Nuki and Graves. And in Category 1, Michael Vink, Ollie Jones, Mikhail Kaminsky, Said Safrazadi and Lionel Vuyasin. Turek finishes in 6th.
In 7th place, it's going to be Ricardo Panizza. In 8th place, Lyndon Milostic. It's going to be a 9th for Johan Warren. A 10th place for Seb Devet. Hayden Pucker in 11th. And that is your top 11 riders. The riders who've come through so far. All these results are currently unofficial. Now, the team competition.
Ooh.
We've already given you the 3rd category teams. The 4th category teams, it was level up from Mighty Ducks, from the Anzacs and Level Avengers, then upcycled. Category 2 teams, first of all, Emma.
Category 2 teams, it looks like it is going to be MDFS in 1, MyWhoosh Werewolves in 2, Top Notch in 3. In Category 1, it looks like the Alpha Jaw squad are going to take the win from the Weekend Warriors from Farm Watts squad.
So fantastic racing in our finals. Come and join us for the racing, whether that is on the bike. Make sure you download the app on iOS, Android, and on Windows, on whatever device you need to jump on board. Come and join the racing, the coaching with Emma. Emma's kicking off the coaching on Monday, as she said. Don't forget, of course, you can catch up with us on Inside the Ride, episode 11 podcast. That is on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and get notified whenever there's a new MyWhoosh video, whether that's the Inside the Ride podcast or a great instructional video from Jeff, or whether, of course, it is some of our race coverage as well. Don't forget, you can catch up with Emma. It's at biking_Emma on Instagram, and Emma will no doubt have a new episode of the Virtual Velo podcast coming out very shortly as well.
End of next week, we're recording it.
Next week. You can catch it with me. It is at Matt Fix a Pain. Please do send me. Tell me what the worst thing a coach has ever said to you that's pretty much repeatable on air, because I'm sure there's been some pretty bad things, and the best things they've said. And don't forget, you can catch up with me on the latest episode of the Crosscast, because the Cyclocross World Cup season has started. We have done our racing for November. It's been an absolute blast. A massive thank you to the team behind the scenes, to you for watching, to our riders for keeping us entertained. All that remains is for me to say thank you very much. Stay safe. We will see you again in December.
Oh, goodbye.
Bye.